irregular verb, irregular verbs in Hindi. Okay. I know because we're meeting after 4 weeks, it requires some refresher. Okay. So, and this is also an opportunity for folks, who are new to us, like, for them to kind of like, get back and like start learning from very basics. Okay. And that's the attempt for today's class. We'll take only one verb and we'll start with from very basics. Okay. And it's important for even for the intermediate and the advanced level, students as well. So what I have decided is like we'll take only one word. Okay, it's called Karna. Okay, and that's how you write it in Devanagari. Okay, it's in the infinitive form. The meaning of Karna is to do. Okay, so for the entire class will be dedicated on how to use Karna in the present form and how to use it in the past form. Okay, so with that in mind, as you are always welcome to ask any questions on the Facebook group as well as on the Google Hangout. So feel free to ask as many questions as possible, and I'll cover them during the class. Okay? I want to just make sure that the audio is clear on the Facebook side. So let me know if there's any issue on the Facebook audio, and I'll fix that as well. Okay, so as I said, the word for today is karna. Okay, and it means to do. Many things about this particular verb. First, it's in the transitive. It's a transitive verb. What that means is like whenever you're using it in a sentence, object is receiving the action. Okay, um, so that's the first thing about this particular verb. Second thing, it's an irregular verb. It's an irregular verb. So what that means is like a lot of the verbs, even in English, like if you've studied English as a foreign language, a lot of the verbs they follow, especially in the past tense, they follow a particular pattern when you're writing the verb in the past tense. Okay, such as like cry, cried, or cried. They're ending with ed or d in the past tense. Okay, but at times there are verbs in English, which are completely different in the past form, than their present form, such as like eat, eat, ate, and eaten. So you're not simply putting d or ed at the end of eat to make them, in the past form. Okay, so these kind of verbs are called irregular verbs. Okay, the good thing, as I mentioned, in English there are several irregular verbs, but in Hindi they're pretty limited. Okay, and karna is one of the irregular verb. So you will see that when karna is used in the past form, it's a little different. You will see kia, kie, okay, which is you don't really see any similarity with the base form, karna. Okay, that's the reason it's a little bit interesting. So two important things: karna is a transitive verb and it's an irregular verb. Okay, and in the infinitive form, its meaning is the meaning of karna is to do. So let's start with a very basic example of karna. Okay, for example, you are saying I do my homework. For simple sentence is written in present indefinite form. So why don't I give you an opportunity to translate this sentence? So folks who are already have some understanding of Hindi, why don't you give it a try and then we'll take it from there. Simple sentence: I do my homework. You know that you have to use the verb karna, and I in Hindi is मैं. So give it a try. It's okay to make mistakes. So and for For homework, you can simply use the English word homework. Okay. Let me give you a hint here. Okay. Very good. Right? So it means मैं homework. I'm just using the English word right now. And then you will say karta, karta for a male. Okay. What you've done here is like in the infinitive form, you remove na and you put ta. Okay. मैं homework करता हूँ. Okay. And that's for a male. For a female, it will be मैं homework. You'll use the base part कर and then you will put t. मैं homework करती हूँ. Okay. My homework you can put मेरा homework करता हूँ. For a girl you can say मैं the same thing. Homework is basically masculine. So मैं मेरा homework करती हूँ. Okay. Very basic sentence. Let me know if there are any questions and we'll cover that. And if you want to write even the homework part in Hindi, work for homework, you know, it's a difficult word, but you can write it grah karya. Okay, grah karya. And for those of you who are interested in Devanagari, it's g with r and ha, ka with a, and ya with ra on top. Okay, grah karya. So you can say मैं ग्रह कार्य करता हूँ, and this one is मैं ग्रह कार्य करती हूँ. Okay, so very basic sentence. Let's do some more examples on using this word karna in the present form. And another interesting thing about this word is like let's say you're not familiar with another verb called to swim. To swim is tärna. Okay, you're not familiar with the verb in Hindi, and you want to say I do, like in the earlier example you said I do homework, and you want to say I do swimming. Okay, you can use the word as it is. Using you don't have to know tärna. You can simply say मैं swimming, and then you're using the verb to do karta हूँ. It's correct. Grammatically, it's correct. Only thing is like you're not using the verb for swimming, but you're leveraging to do that. You're doing the act of swimming. मैं swimming करता हूँ, or you can say मैं नाटक करता हूँ. I act. Okay, or मैं biking करता हूँ. Okay, all of them are grammatically correct. All you're doing is like you're using the verb as it is, and you're leveraging karna in place of the actual verb. Okay, I hope that is clear. I can give you one more example to kind of quiz you on that. So, so let's say you want to, you're not familiar with, the word to study. To study, okay, which is padhna. One way would be that you will say मैं, and you use the base part, पढ़ता, मैं पढ़ता हूँ, that I study for a male, और मैं पढ़ती हूँ for a female. Okay, let's say you want to use करना instead of पढ़ना. Can you give it a try? So do not use this word called padna, and instead of that use karna. So this is a quiz, give it a try and then I'll answer. Okay, let me give it a try. So the way you will say it is like, you will say, as I mentioned, you can say मैं study करता हूँ. Some of you may say that why are we using an English word here? Let's see another one. मैं पढ़ाई करता हूँ. मैं पढ़ाई करता हूँ for a guy. मैं पढ़ाई करती हूँ for a girl. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Feel free to use. Uh, I always get mixed reactions, especially whenever I'm teaching Hindi, where some English words are involved. I do get some mixed reactions. I'm of the opinion that especially folks who are learning Hindi as a foreign language, it's completely okay. And in fact, a lot of Hindi speakers also they end up using a lot of English words in it. Okay, so don't get worried about that. Don't get brought up like that. I would not prefer you to use greh kagre to imply homework. It's very difficult, especially when you're using it. It's very difficult for other person also to understand. It's like I'm speaking English and all of a sudden I end up using a very complicated word and I'm not using it appropriately, right? So don't worry about that. It's completely fine to use मैं study करता हूँ, right? Then using it in an incorrect way. Okay, so let's continue to build on top of this and let's explore more examples. Um, so some more examples of to do or karna. Um, in the same way, okay. So let's say to dance is in Hindi it's nachna, nachna. Okay. So either you can say मैं नाचता हूँ or मैं नाचती हूँ to imply that I dance, or you can say if you don't know this verb, you can say मैं dance करता हूँ. मैं dance करता हूँ. Or the other word for dance is nritya. It's like a little bit difficult, but bear with me. It's Nritya. 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 नृत्य मैं नृत्य करता हूँ और मैं नृत्य करती हूँ. It's a Hindi word, okay? So let me remove this and it'll be easier for you to see. So you can say that as well. Okay, so it's na, and then there is a r below that, and then this is half the, and then this is a year. Okay, नृत्य मैं नृत्य करता हूँ और मैं नृत्य करती हूँ. Basically, you're not using it the dance as a verb, but you're using it as an adjective or a noun. Sorry. Okay. Let's keep going. I hope this is getting better and better with each example. So let me give you a quiz, and let's say the form is still I do, and let's say you want to say poetry, and I do poetry, and then email, or let's say you want to say tweet because these days people are more on Twitter as well, right? Uh, Nothing. So let's say these are the four sentences you want to convey it in Hindi. Okay, this should be pretty simple for you. You can use poetry as it is, and you can say मैं and then you can use Karna. So let me quiz you here and try to translate these four sentences in Hindi. Definitely, folks on the Facebook also definitely give it a try. As I mentioned, it's okay to make mistakes, and I'll make sure I cover it. In fact, if you make mistakes, it gives me an opportunity to see where the disconnect is. Very good, right? So as Liz has mentioned, I do poetry. It's simple, man. Poetry um, करता हूँ और मैं पोइट्री करती हूँ for a girl. Okay. Um, and you can replace, if you know the Hindi word for poetry, you can always replace that. Second one, simple, right? You can say मैं email करता हूँ for a guy, and for a girl is मैं email करती हूँ. Third one, simple again, right? It's मैं tweet करता हूँ और मैं post करता हूँ if you are doing it on Facebook. Last one is interesting. I do nothing. Let's see if some of you figure it out. Very good, right? For a guy, it's like मैं कुछ नहीं करता हूँ. Okay? Or you can say मैं for a girl मैं कुछ नहीं करती हूँ. Right? So you see, it's very simple. Okay? And a lot of it is still brushing over the concept that we already know from the present indefinite. Okay? Irregular verb really starts when we use Karna in the past form, which we will be doing it. But I still want to make sure all of you are comfortable with it. You can say that, right? So I think the question was like, I think it was about email. So you can say मैं mail करता हूँ. That's completely fine. Let me see if there are any other. Awesome. Let's keep going. So now it's the second part that we'll be doing. So same thing, so far we are doing I do. So far we are saying I do poetry, I do email, I do tweet, I do nothing. What if it was not do and it was did? Your sentences will change altogether. In English, it's simple, okay? Because in English, to do is not probably irregular verb because it's to, all you did was, replace do with did and everything is fine, okay? Hindi, it's difficult. Hindi, there are several forms of did, and it changes based on, your object, whether it's a masculine singular, masculine plural, feminine singular, and feminine plural. Okay, as you have learned it before. So why don't we first look at different forms of karna when it is used in the past tense, okay, and then it will be easier for you to do the examples. So we're again back to karna here. And this table is particularly for using karna in past tense. Okay, so whenever you're using it for masculine singular, you will say kiya. Kiya. Okay, say after me, kiya. And you will write it in Devanagari as ka with e and ya with a. Kiya. Okay, so same thing that you said, मैं homework करता हूँ. In the past, it would be मैंने homework किया. Okay, so don't worry about examples right now. Just you probably have to memorize these four different forms. Okay. The second one is masculine plural. Okay. Um, it's called in the masculine plural. It's called kiye. Kiye. Okay. And the way you write it in Devanagari, you have a k with e, and you have a. Kiye. Okay. Now, what if you're using it with objects which are feminine singular? It would be key. Key. Poetry. Poetry is, considered feminine. It's a feminine, object, right? So you want to say, I did poetry. In Hindi, it would be मैंने poetry की. Okay, we'll cover many examples for each of those. So don't worry about that. Now, what if it is your object is feminine plural, and then it would be keen. So there is a nasalized sound there. So you still have key, but there is a dot on the side. That's why I have n near that key. Okay, so you really have to listen to it carefully to see or to identify the nasalized voice. Okay, so just to recap, um, Karna when it is used in the past tense, which form of Karna you'll be using, it really depends on the object. Okay, if the object is masculine singular, you'll be using it as kiya. Okay, such as मैंने homework किया. Okay, homework is masculine singular. Okay, if the object you're using in past tense is plural, masculine plural, okay, you would be using kiye, such as मैंने promises, also like promises kiye. Okay, if the object you're using in the past is feminine singular, it would be ki. मैंने poetry की. Okay, and if the object you're using in the past, it's feminine plural. For example, gossip. Like मैंने बातें. Gossip is nothing but बातें in Hindi. मैंने बातें की. Okay, so we'll go through each of the examples, but I want to kind of give you idea about that. Okay? So I hope you've written down this table, and now we'll cover each of those in more detail, like how to use kiya, how to use key, and key. Okay, so another good thing, as I mentioned, don't forget that karna is a transitive. It's a transitive verb as well. Okay, so whenever we're using, so let's say we're still using man, and your example is I did my homework. Okay, so I know that it's a transitive verb. I know that it's used in the past tense. Okay, so whenever you're using the transitive verb in the past tense, as you know, you will be using a postposition called ne with the pronoun. So it will be मैं, and then it will be followed by ne. Okay, and then you will say homework. And so far it's a subject. This is your postposition. And this is your object, homework. Okay, now the question is, which form of karna should I use? That's where it comes down to, which form of karna should I use? The question I need to ask is homework, whether it is masculine or feminine, first thing. Okay, then I need to ask whether it is singular or plural. Okay, and this can be a complicated concept for a lot of people. Like, how do I know what's masculine or what's feminine? Okay, uh, I don't have a clear-cut answer for it, okay? But there are certain formulas you can use, or you can also clarify when you're speaking with a native speaker, okay? क्या homework masculine है? You know, you can use phrases like those, okay? But the more you practice, it will come. You know, you'll start identifying which objects are considered, or which nouns are considered masculine and which nouns are considered feminine. Okay. So let's say you were to ask me it in a form of a question. क्या homework masculine है? My answer would be yes. हाँ, homework masculine है. And you can tell that in this case you're talking about one particular homework. Okay. So it's masculine singular. So you'll say मैं followed by me homework किया. मैंने homework किया. Um, for folks who are finding it a bit difficult, please bear with me. It is a difficult topic, but if you watch it again, I promise it will be much simpler for you. Okay. So the overall sentence would be मैंने homework किया. मैंने homework किया. Okay. What about I did? The other examples that we did. मैंने dance किया. Dance is also masculine singular. मैंने dance किया. Okay. Um, what about there's a very famous movie. I don't know if some of you are familiar. Let me give you a hint. Mostly Bollywood movies are about love and this. So think about that. And there's a movie name. Let's see if you can figure it out. मैंने and then blank and किया. If you search online, it will probably come for the first time, right? I mean, even if you say मैंने किया and then so the movie is मैंने प्यार किया. Pyar is nothing but love. Okay. Very famous Salman Khan movie. Okay. Same thing, like all the thing that we did. मैंने tweet किया और मैंने email किया. All of them are correct. All of them, the object is masculine singular. Okay. Let's say you want to say I did nothing. Let me quiz you now. So I hope you have written all of them down of how to use Karna in the past tense. So now let me quickly quiz you for this segment. So now you want to say I did nothing. I did you have to think about it, but you keep writing it, keep thinking about your answers while I'm thinking about more questions. I did clean the kitchen. So basically, you will not say it like that in English. You will say I cleaned. You will just put D, right? I cleaned the kitchen. But you see what I'm saying, right? I did clean the kitchen, and then I did. Okay, so why don't we just do these two first? First one is I did nothing, and the second one is I did clean the kitchen, or I cleaned the kitchen. Give it a try. So the correction here is for Liz. You cannot use dekhna, two verbs together here. Okay. Either you have to find out how to use dekhna in the form of a noun. You can say मैंने watch किया, that's correct. But देख किया is not correct, right? I mean, so मैंने basketball game watch किया. I mean, you have to use it in a basically देख. Either you can say मैंने basketball game देखा. That's correct, completely correct. So let's see if you can answer these two. मैंने, okay, so the first one is correct. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. Second one, let's give it a try. I did nothing. It's मैंने. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. Let's give it a try for the second one. Okay, to clean is साफ करना, but let's see if you can use. Okay, I'm gonna help you here. So you say मैंने kitchen साफ किया. मैंने kitchen साफ किया. Okay, so I hope this is clear. The homework assignment for you is like think about masculine singular objects and try to use them with kia in the past form. Okay, think about two objects. Okay, so let's move on. Now we'll do masculine plural. Okay, so this one is now we'll do the objects which are masculine plural, and as you know, the form of kia would be kiye. Okay, it's basically ki and then a, kiye. Okay, so let's say you want to say that I folded the clothes. Okay, I folded the clothes. So don't worry about the Hindi word. You can simply say fold. As of now, you can use the English word itself. Okay. Now the question is, cloth is kapda. If you're talking about one kapda, and if you're talking about multiple, it's kapde. That's a plural. Okay, and so you can easily say it's a plural. Okay, and it is a masculine object or noun. Okay, so now let's say you want to say the sentence in Hindi. How do you say that? So I'm gonna take a pause and see if you can figure it out. Or think about it, it's like your verb itself is fold karna. Okay, so let's say in the present form, I want to say, for example, if I want to say I fold the clothes, I will say मैं कपड़े fold करता हूँ. All I'm asking you to do is like translate the same sentence in past. Instead of I fold the clothes, I folded the clothes. So very good, right? I mean, let's see if other people can figure it out. Okay, so the way you will say it's basically मैंने, as I said, in the past tense, especially in the transitive verb, you will put ne after the pronoun. So you say मैंने, and then you will use kapde as it is, kapde, and then fold, and then you will use kiye. मैंने कपड़े fold किए. Okay, so I hope this is clear and easy for you now. Same thing. I Another quiz for you. I cleaned, I cleaned the clothes or I cleaned the shoes. I cleaned the shoes. If it is difficult for you, any of you think about it in the present form first. You can say, how do you say I clean the shoe? मैं, if you're talking about just one shoe, you will say मैं जूता साफ करता हूँ. Okay? If you're saying it in the present form, okay? Or if you're talking about plural, you will say मैं जूते साफ करता हूँ or करती हूँ. All you're doing now is writing the same sentence in the past tense. So let's see. Very good, right? So as you guys figured it out, in the past, where you're saying I clean the shoes rather than I clean the shoe, will be मैंने जूते, because you're using it as a plural. Okay, you will say मैंने जूते साफ and you will say किए. If you're talking about one shoe, it's मैंने जूता साफ किया और मैंने लैम्प साफ किया और मैंने किचन साफ किया, as we did, right? In this case, you're writing masculine plural. Okay, so juta is masculine and juta is, plural as well. Okay, so let's keep on moving. And now let's say the sentence that we have is so now the sentence is I fulfilled the promises. So let's say a politician is there and he wants to convey this message to the audience that I fulfilled all the promises I gave to you, right? How will he say that in Hindi? Okay. As of now, don't worry about, how do you say fulfill in Hindi. Okay. Let's say if you just want to say I fulfill in the present tense, you will say मैंने, sorry, मैं promise पूरा करता हूँ. So right now you figure it out. To fulfill is पूरा करना. Okay. And in the present tense, you will, because I'm a male, I'll say मैं पूरा करता हूँ. Okay. So मैं promise पूरा करता हूँ. I, fulfill my promise. That's a present tense. Okay. Same thing if you want to say it in the past tense. How do you say that? That's a quiz for you. So give it a try. It should be easy now that you've been doing it. On the Facebook also, definitely give it a try. That's how you learn more and more. And when you write on the comments, I know that you are, actively participating. So that gives me some confidence that I'm catching most of your attention. Okay, so this one. So let's say in this case you're talking about many promise. Okay, so the word for promise is vada. So you say मैंने, sorry, so मैं वादा, present tense you say मैं वादा पूरा करता हूँ. In the past you will say मैंने वादे, and then you will say, because you're saying plural, right? Vada is one vada, okay, one promise. Vade is plural. So you will say मैंने वादे पूरे, and you will say किए. I fulfilled my promises. Okay, so it's पूरे. If it is one, then you will say मैंने वादा पूरा किया. Okay, so just notice the difference there. Um, Next one, I. So the next one is, let me do it in a different order next one, and let me ask you what it means. Uh, मैंने बहुत प्रयास किए. Okay, I'll write it down in Devanagari also. मैंने बहुत and you're saying प्रयास. मैंने बहुत प्रयास and then you're writing किए. Let's say somebody is using the sentence for you that मैंने बहुत प्रयास किए and you don't know some of the words in sentence. How will you dissect it? Right? If I'm reading your mind correctly, first of all, you will ask what does it mean prayas? Okay. Um, you probably figure it out, मैंने. You probably by now figure it out kiye. The sentence is said something in the past tense. Okay. And prayas is probably masculine plural because they're using kiye in the sentence. And bahut, some of you probably know that it's many. Okay. Now you are probably wondering what is prayas. Uh, for some of you who are regular to Hindi University videos, you know that you can ask this question in Hindi. प्रयास का मतलब क्या है? What does it mean? Right? And you will say प्रयास का मतलब efforts है. Efforts. Right? Now, if it's a little bit simpler for you because the sentence is used in the past tense because pronoun is coming with ne. Okay, bahut is many. Prayas, is efforts or attempts, and then kiya is to do. Now let me ask you again, what does it mean? What does the sentence say? Give it a try. Very good, right? I tried many times. That's exactly what the sentence is saying. I tried. I tried many times. Many times. Or I attempted. I attempted. I attempted many times. Okay. Right. So that's how you sing मैंने बहुत था. Now let's say you want to say the same sentence. So far we are writing it in the present form and we're converting it in the past. Okay. Now let's say you want to say the sentence in present form. That I try or I make attempts. Okay. How do you say that? Or I make an attempt. Let me simplify it for you. I make an attempt. It should be simple. Just go one by one. मैंने would be in the present form मैं. Okay. बहुत as it is, you will say बहुत, and then you will say प्रयास. किया instead of क्रिया you will say करता हूँ. मैं बहुत प्रयास करता हूँ और मैं बहुत प्रयास करती हूँ. Okay. You can also say something simpler like I work a lot. Um, I work hard. मैं मेहनत करता हूँ. Okay, so I'll write it down because it's a good sentence to use and to remember. Uh, that I work hard. भी मैं मेहनत करता हूँ. Okay, मेहनत करना. It's to do hard work. So I hope it is getting easier and easier with each example. If not, definitely ask questions. Um, okay, so let's keep going here. With the so now so far you've done masculine singular and masculine plural. I'll jump on to the third one, which is the feminine singular. Okay, so I'll give one example and then rest of them we can do it using the exercise. Um, as I said, swimming is considered swimming, poetry, all of them are considered, if using it as a noun, these are feminine singular. Okay, so all the examples that I did swimming or I did poetry, you will say मैंने swimming की. Okay, basically there is no nasalized voice. You're just saying की. मैंने swimming की or you will say मैंने poetry की. मैंने स्विमिंग की, मैंने पोएट्री की, uh, और मैंने सफाई की. आई डिड क्लीनिंग. मैंने सफाई की. और आई वर्शिप्ड. Let me ask you this. How do you say that? I probably cleaned up a bit early. But let's say you want to say I worshipped. You can say it's a past tense. How do you say that in Hindi? It's a very the word for to worship is it's a very popular Hindi name for girls, right? To worship is पूजा करना. पूजा करना. And I'm pretty positive a lot of you already have a friend, whose name is Pooja, right? So, you can relate with that, right? You can tell them that I know the meaning of your name is to worship. So basically, your task is to translate the sentence that I worshipped you know in Hindi. Very good, right? So you will say मैंने. A lot of you who are thinking in mind, you're absolutely correct. I know you are not saying it, but it's exactly what it means. मैंने पूजा की. Okay, and in the present form, you will say मैं पूजा करता हूँ और मैं पूजा करती हूँ. That's absolutely right. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's say you want to say I helped. Okay, so let's say you want to say I helped in Hindi. How do you say that? Okay, as I said, very good, right? So as I said, you may not know, the Hindi word for help. So it's easier to say help karna. You can really make a verb by yourself. It's if you know the Hindi word for it, that's fine. If you don't know, you can always leverage karna. Okay, and to help is nothing but help karna. So in present you will say मैं help करता हूँ और मैं हेल्प करती हूँ. Okay. For those of you who already know, it's basically मदद करना. मदद करना. Okay. And you will say मैं. In present, you will say मैं मदद करता हूँ. I help. Okay. Or you can say मैं strangers की मदद करता हूँ. Or I help the strangers. और मैं अजनबियों की मदद करता हूँ. In the past, you will say, as some of you written down, मैंने मदद. Now you will have a question mark. How do I know whether I should use किया or किए or की or की, right? Because you don't know madad is, it's singular, okay? But you don't know it's masculine or singular, okay? You can always ask the native speaker you're speaking with, or, I can tell you that it's madad is basically nothing, it's a feminine singular. Okay, so you say मैंने मदद की. Okay, so simple, right? मैंने मदद की, मैंने पूजा की, मैंने swimming की, मैंने poetry की. So next time when you are seeing this, in the past, and it should be fairly simple for you. Or at least it should give you enough tool to dissect it one by one and figure out what is being said in the sentence. Okay. The last one is, as I said, is feminine plural. So this one is a bit tricky, right? Because so let's say you want to say मैंने बातें की. Don't read it as keen. It's nothing. It's a key with a nasalized sound. Okay. मैंने बातें की. Okay. बातें is nothing but a lot of chit chat. Chit chat or gossip. You can call it whatever. Okay. In the present tense, you will say मैं बात और बातें करता हूँ. I do the talking. Okay. Or you can say for a girl, you can say मैं बातें करती हूँ. Okay. It's feminine. Okay. It's plural also because it's considered like you're not doing one talk, you're talking many things, right? So मैंने बातें की. Okay. So in the past and this is in the present. Okay. Now let me give you one thing as a quiz. I solved the problems. Okay. If this is difficult, just think about this. I solved. Forget about the problems. Okay. For example, the same thing. I helped. Right. Let's say your task is to simply translate I solved into Hindi. How do you say that? Right. I solved. Don't worry about like let's say what is the exact word for solve. You can say solve karna. Solve karna. So in the present you can say solve करता हूँ और मैं solve करती हूँ. For those of you who are really particular about Hindi, you can say हल. मैं हल करता हूँ. Very good, right? So now all you have to do is translate the same sentence into past, right? So it will become मैंने problems. So problem is it's a plural. Problems is a plural, and it's considered feminine. You can see, right? I mean, problem and feminine, right? I mean, they're related, right? So who knows who came up with this thing, but it's a coincidence, right? Many problems solve, and then you will say key. So it's key with dot. Okay, many problems solve key. Okay. So I hope this is simple, and then we'll have one more. We are right at time actually, so I have one more examples to give you. I distributed the tickets. Let's say you have the last one. I distributed the tickets. Complicated sentence, right? I mean, initially it may intimidate you, but don't worry about it, right? Because now you have the tools. So you don't have to know the word for distribute, right? To distribute, you can say distribute Karna. Okay, you can say that. That's completely fine. Or you can, if you are really particular, you can say Batna. But then you cannot use Karna. You cannot say Batna and Karna, right? Either you can say noun followed by Karna, or you can say Batna. Okay. You can say मैं distribute करता हूँ, or you can say मैं बांटता हूँ. Okay. So I will say in the present tense, I will say मैं tickets distribute करता हूँ. Okay, मैं tickets distribute करता हूँ. Now you want to say this thing in the past. How do you say that? So tickets can be, okay, let me correct it. Okay, tickets can be sometimes like, you know, let me say sweets or mithai. Mithai, let me say that actually. So it's easier than mithai. Okay, so it will be, as you said, in the past it will be मैंने मिठाई बांटी, or you know, because you're using Karna, it will be मैंने मिठाई distribute की. Distribute की. And for those of you who are really particular about why we use distribute, why not use Hindi word as a noun? So the word for distribute is, if you don't want to use like a, you know, distribute karna, you can say vitrit karna. Vitrit. It's a difficult word, but bear with me and repeat after me. It's vitrit. Okay, so you can say मैंने मिठाई वितरित की. Okay, or मैंने मिठाई बांटी. Okay, so here we are. It took us 1 hour, but I hope it's pretty clear for you. I by the end of this class, I promise, you mastered, the past forms of Karna, and I can promise you, no textbook will cover Karna in such a detail. Right? We have covered, Karna in a very basic form, right? I mean, in the infinitive form, and we covered various examples of, of the present tense, present indefinite. And then we basically went over several examples of Karna for different scenarios. If the object is or noun is masculine singular, or if it is masculine plural, feminine singular and feminine plural. Okay. So I definitely encourage you to share the video with your friends. I definitely encourage you to, whenever you come across any of these forms, pay attention to that particular sentence and send it my way. We have a WhatsApp group as well. I want us to to have this engaging conversation about how to use these four forms, throughout the week. And if you want to be part of the WhatsApp group, definitely message me. I'll add you. I was out, so there was a very less activity in the past 3 4 4 weeks, but that will change. So with that in mind, I'll stop the broadcast. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll open it up for panel discussion here.